Hello, everybody. Welcome back here in the channel. It's been for a while here, and um, had this for a little while to invite particularly Nick up here. So please warm welcome Nick and his knowledge and the twin flames. Um, we know each other for quite a few years. We've been really brothers in arms here, particularly talking about the group on the Facebook, protecting, guiding, and so on and so on, and keeping up with this. And I want to say personally thanks to Nick for it because he did a very good job and continue doing it within the group. Um, Nick has been in the journey for a long time. I posted the link for his video, his documentary. I hope some of you watched it and understand it with Nick. And I want to say so much thank you, Nick, for coming in. Karen, thank you for coming into the chat. If you guys have some questions during the discussions, please write it down. Let's keep the inner peace energy. And Twin Flame Power, welcome here. And ask those questions and wait for the answers for it. Please don't overload the chat. But we are here to have a great discussions about the twin flames, the connections, and Nick is very sourceful. Okay, so hopefully this is gonna be continue going on in the future. But right now I'm gonna give the mic to Nick to say his words for himself and kind of like introduce himself to here. So Nick, the mic is yours.
Hey, Nick Matula, one of the admins, and I am Twin Flame, and kind of been handed the reins in other groups as well in the past, and had my own group, Alchemy of Balance, and a YouTube channel as well, which I haven't been keeping up with lately, doing much. I guess the last several years I've been kind of been asked to go within and listen more than I speak. So that's what I've been doing. I think a lot of us end up in uh, that phase along the journey. For me, it started at activation 2017, um, early 2017. Uh, I, well, of course, the twin magically appeared, and it was the eclipse, the Great American Eclipse, in September, October 2017, where my switch was turned on and the DMT started pouring in, and the Kundalini awakened, and I had no idea what was going on, just like everybody when this first happens. We know everything and nothing at the same time. So, yeah, I've learned a lot. I've spent most of these years researching, looking into the things that are mentioned, like we all see, debunking a lot of myths, and trying to discern the truth of what this journey is really about and why we're all on it and where it may be going. And if it's got questions about separation or the activations, the changes we go through, the dark night of the soul, which a lot of people seem to be having a flashback into right now. With Dio probably knows the astrology better than I do, but something's going on in the universe that's cracking more people open and bringing stuff to the surface that people thought they had already dealt with. And new opportunities come in during these times. So we're here to discuss any of this. And I don't make many public appearances anymore. So this is the opportunity, guys.
This is a very good opportunity. I kind of like dig you out in there. And yes, a lot of things is coming up as an astrology wise. I spoke about this quite a bit. Pluto, who is actually in the astrology representing the hidden god in there, he's went back into Capricorn. He says like you haven't done a certain job. You haven't done a certain things. You are not finished up here. You have to go back. You have to come out on the surface. You have to come back into what you are. This is things that you have not processed the last time. You need to process it. But we are preparing for this divine opening because Pluto's not going to be anymore going back into Capricorn. That's that is a this you to be the pro within, but it preparing us for the next year.
So this is
Next,
the final push then, huh?
that's it. It's the final push. But the four big guys, I want to be talking about a little bit since you mentioned about astrology here. I want to talk about the four big guys. The four big guys, that is a Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. Okay. All four of them right now, they are in a retrograde mode together with Jupiter, but Jupiter is currently under the supervision of Saturn. Saturn is like, hold your horses. Don't go to Age of Aquarius. You're not ready yet. You need to do some things. While Saturn represents this wisdom in there. But what we're going to be experiencing that once Pluto's coming back at Aquarius, he's going to be, because right now he's retrograde, he's going to come back in Aquarius because that's what he started the retrograde. That's what I'm saying, come back. For We're going to be experiencing that we're going to have these preparations of Saturn and Neptune crossing over from Pisces into Aries. This is a total new beginning. This is the internal death from within with the brand new learning. You've been reborn. You are reincarnate without you dying. Dark
You mean
Knight
the
of the
saints
Sun.
being risen?
You're lucky I don't have my Bears shirt. I'm still a Chicago Bears fan.
Uh,
But without being said, there, yeah, talking about these shifts that we are experiencing right now, a lot of the people who's been awakening, they've been waiting for this period, for, and this awakening that it's right now, it's coming in. This reawakening that's coming in. This is why you see a lot of people hiding into the shallow shadow. What I mean by this shallow shadow, it's kind of like I'm there, I can see, I can be every time in the open, but I'm still hiding. I'm waiting. But people don't know for what they're waiting for. And they're waiting for themselves to get going into the age of Aquarius in there. So we have some a lot of people watching us, Nick. We have somebody from Israel. I don't know what the name is because it's that's how it's coming up. To Welcome to Eva and welcome to Stephanie. Hey Diamond B, glad to see you too. And Twin Flame Power again. Love to all. Guys, if you have so many questions, you can pop them up. But my first thing about Nick, for you, like a question in there. After all those years being in a Twin Flame, for it, what have you really personal gain? Like in a few words. Hi, Efrat. Thank you for mentioning your name. How did you kind of like with few words your personal internal growth that this twin flame journey benefits you?
oh, it doesn't. It's a complete nightmare, Dio. I mean, I think I've been cursed, and this is some kind of no. Uh, well, I'll tell you the benefits that a lot of people new on the journey don't know are coming. First and foremost is inner peace, balance, and unity. Um, I did see something somebody posted, or I think I posted it, that it was a video some girl made. I put it in the group where it was talking about the temple being split. And it's spoken about in scriptures. And people immediately think it's like some church or something in the 3D that's, was split by some earthquake or something. But all this is symbolic. Was speaking about your temple and it being split. We experience a lot of this. Everybody on the twin flame journey will experience that. This is the divine and masculine and feminine within, or as within as above, so without, um, separating itself. Now, it's supposed to come back together as one whole unit, and work together instead of be one sided, like you're not just going to be a Republican anymore. You're also going to be a Democrat, but at the same time, you're going to be neither because you're going to be one with the Unity Party and you're one with Spirit. And things are now at that point because you've had this journey that everything is guided and there's been absolutely nothing you had to rush and go out and do, except for what was divinely guided as, what do we call it? Uh, I can't think of the word right now. Basically, strong inner influence to take action in anything. Otherwise, there's no action to take. This healing isn't some big job you have to do because it's being done for you anyways. And the less you try and heal, the more you're going to heal because you're allowing things to come in and happen and process themselves. And if you don't resist it, I mean, that's part of what the dark night of the soul is, why I bring it up, because it's coming up again. Anybody who's remuddled their truth with crap on the internet, false teachers, anything like that, it's got to be cleared again. So all this garbage in us since we were born, all this programming, it's being released and we're coming back. It's a remembering process, Theo. We're remembering who we are. We're remembering our power. It's always been there. It's just this world we live in, every left and right turn you take is trying to hide this from you and help you forget, how powerful we are. So on the journey, it's remembering and embracing your power within. There is no separation, as they say. Only then are you going to have a counterpart of any sort come back in a healthy way. That's otherwise. So here's the thing. So many people talk about, well, my twin flame's a narcissist, or whether they really be on the journey or not. You're attracting narcissists. I did too. And I couldn't understand why all these shitty people, and not shitty people, they're broken people, but so are you. Empaths and narcissists are like two sides of the same coin. So one decided to hurt others, I guess to feel better about themselves. The other one decided to hurt themselves so others could feel better. And so to be a full empath, just being a doormat is not healthy either. We need this influence, the dark and the light, to come into balance. You just can't be all light because you're denying an aspect of yourself.
Oh boy, you're talking about like a master Jedi here. You have to unite the force from within. The one who's gonna bring the balance of the force, as Yoda said. Um,
Well, yeah, there's the movies and stuff, these big productions have been showing us what's going on for a long time and how to master yourself. But everybody, that doesn't have their third eye on, nor did most of us weren't born just wide open in the third eye, going, oh, look, the world is shit and everything's a lie. And uh, only I know the truth. I mean, we might have said something like that, or 4 or 5, 6, before we were shut down by our parents and family and society, telling us that we were wrong. And you have to conform to this in order to be part of everyone else, or you're going to be rejected. And how are you going to be rich? How are you ever going to get a good education and a job if you think this way? So it's conforming to the toxicity of the world is what most of us had to do to survive. Therefore, the twin flame journey opens us up for the first time, giving us an opportunity to live instead of just survive.
exactly. Talking about that, a lot of the twin flames, even though over the years, Nick, we had a countlessly conversations with you and study. Most of you don't know, but me and Nick has been digging into the years, even through the scripture. I mentioned quite a bit, a few times in some of the videos that Nick has been helping me a lot to some of the things to be debunked in there within the scriptures. And when we talking about those situations, and particularly we're talking about the dark night of the soul, and the dark night of the soul, it's coming in because you are angry at the divine. I say the one main reason in there that is triggered to purge that aggravations through the divine to remind you who you are as the divine. After the process is done, you're gonna be feel reborn like a baby. To but as you mentioned it, a lot of this dark night of the soul comes in, but that dark night of the soul comes in collectively. Before it was kind of like
Yes.
individually, but right now the universe says like it or not, you are warned. It's coming. The greatest awakening of all time. It's coming, and it's gonna come. Those who actually got awakened, those who are moving and so on, they are the one they're gonna be given the power to lead. Those who are lying, they're gonna be continue lying, and they're gonna fall off the tree. In there, they're gonna go back acting as this. What was the word? Fallen angels. In there too, and this is why the progress is gonna be moving. But as we say in our videos, evolution has no mercy, and it doesn't. It can't just stays in there. But talking about with this a little bit about the scriptures and the connections in there, Nick, how would you say to the people in there uh, about this this kind of like a ignorance of ignoring the spirituality from within as a twin flame that you know what you need to do, but you're not doing it personally or inner work in there that kind of like a triggers and what can I help in there for it. And there is a question that came in. I'm gonna be asking you afterwards from people.
Well, this is ancient knowledge and it's very encoded. Let's say a book like the Bible is not meant to be interpreted by everyone, just the average person. There's a lot of powerful information in there that people can use for either good or bad. When you've been awakened and enlightened to the light of the journey, these will be revealed to you. Now, traditionally, and we see a lot of assumptions out there, and a lot of there's the male and the female. Like we were activated the spiritually divine feminine within. We were men in masculine to begin with, toxic masculinity for most of us. Okay, so we are amongst what I'd say probably 90% women, right, in the groups and in the collective. So there's, I don't know how to say this without, I don't think in this forum will offend anybody, but men and women have two different jobs. The key of Solomon, it was, the key of David is given to the male aspect. Okay. And that's why you see in like religions and stuff, it's always been men can only be priests and preachers. Now, does that women mean women don't have any power? Absolutely not. And people confuse this when I try to explain it. That, I mean, my whole purpose on the internet and working with women is to help women find their power, and empower themselves because I've seen it, you know, of course from a male's perspective, but the energy flowed through me 100%, and now it's balanced, of course, but because it's taken the time to do so. But there is everything's in parable in scriptures. This isn't just to Abrahamic uh writings and teachings. This is Hindu, Vedic, you know, it's all there in plain sight. um I think, I went through in 2012, end of the world. I went began rituals with the Freemasons, which is esoteric knowledge, and it's going through ancient rituals for those who have the key to be activated. That ritual will take place. That's why you hear a bunch of crap about them, because you have all these people who think they're enlightened that didn't hold the key and are just part of that group and decide to do bullshit in the world. thinking they're helping people, but it's really self-serving in many cases. So there's a path you've been walking your whole life to get here, both men and women. So a lot of people get things, to come back to that question. A lot of people get scripture misinterpreted. I mean, it doesn't make sense um, uh, to the layman, and that's why you have a lot of non-believers that say it's a bunch of garbage. But it is encoded. There is. It even says in there, look, only the people with ears to hear and eyes to see will know what I'm talking about, because you know, the rest of you, it's being hidden from you, and you're not supposed to know. Why? Because it would be the amount of information in a lot of this ancient scripture is very dangerous in the wrong hands. And I think any twin flame that's been in the presence of their twin flame can vouch for how powerful that energy is between the two, where time basically stands still. And, you know, it's just, you know, there, you don't even have to talk, because everything's telepathic, and words almost get in the way, as I've said before. A lot of the times it's unnecessary anymore once you've been attuned to each other.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's answering your questions, or if you had something specific to say, you wanted me to talk about.
No, whatever was it's in your mind. You know me that when I ask you questions in there, I'm asking you to speak up your mind at this moment.
Now, I'll add
Um,
on there real quick too. A reason, including myself, I was agnostic before my twin flame woke me up. You know, borderline atheist. Except I've had spiritual aspects I couldn't explain my whole life that haunted me, basically. That everybody's seen it but me, and I was just like, you know, whatever. You know, I'm not trying to go down some road of guy sitting on a cloud kind of bullshit. I went to churches. I've been baptized 50 times probably, not that many, but literally 20 times, going to churches looking for answers, different religions and stuff. And just like, something's wrong with these places. And then
yeah.
when I had my past life remembrance, which a lot of us do through the Akashic records kind of being shown to us, you remember what the Roman and Catholic Church did to you. You
Mhm.
know, like me personally, I remember being burned. A lot of the women remember being burned as witches, you know, that I've spoken with. And there's a reason that we reject the church. And today, still today, I don't think it's collectively changed from what I've been observing of the church system or religious systems. There are a lot of people within those systems waking up too,
Mhm.
but the organization that runs it at the top is it's not there to help you, and that's why a lot of us will be repulsed or repelled away from trying to read some of these texts. These religions have taken these texts and twisted them to all hell, and that's why we don't like religion. But you know, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
It's
know
worth
what you
taking another
mean.
look at.
I know what you
Because
mean,
people want
actually.
answers, even the synchronicity numbers. I went through the angel numbers. I went trying to find what's 1111, the 222. What is all this stuff? What's it trying to tell me? And the only thing today, still, if I have a question, is I go ahead and put that number in and put Bible verse behind it. And every time, Theo, I tell you, it gives me a better answer than, oh, you're coming into balance, and this is happening, and magical angels are coming down to bless you, and sit back and wait for all the blessings to come in. I mean, you hear this, it's like I try to tell people, don't listen to that. There's so much disinformation in the world to mislead you. And a lot of people, including myself, have to experience that in order to find the truth, because you're left with the only place left to look sometimes, and that's right in here, you know? And that's how I found that kind of stuff. It
Yeah,
was because
I
nothing else was
know.
working, and it just appeared to be a deception to me to look
Yeah.
anywhere else.
Do you remember by the time with you we were researching the light language alphabet? Remember those uh, particular alphabets that they were using it very back in the days. Those even we're talking about the angelic scripts in there. And what happened is what I find out that they use the same letters, But for the administrative portions and for the things that they have to be used for a knowledge, a secret knowledge, they've been writing the same letters, but
Well,
they had a different meaning when they were writing. And only if you know the story behind it, you will be able to translate it. This is why some of those translations of the scriptures, they're kind of like people still kind of like beating themselves on the heads. What it is. All right. We have a
well,
question.
I wanted to comment on that real quick,
Yeah, sure.
before we get. Now, that's what I was talking about the different roles of the man and woman. See, the man will be given the gift to interpret, let's say, scriptures properly. I don't know any men personally who are able to speak and translate that light language you see all the ladies speaking online. Now, some of them speak gibberish, but I've heard the genuine stuff over and over, mostly from twin flames. And that doesn't mean it's for all those women. I'm just saying that's how, like, I don't think I'm supposed to, or you're supposed to speak or know exactly what that is, but we need a good woman sitting next to us who can, do fill that role. And that's the partnership and the oneness and trusting each other, because they're not going to believe you at sometimes either
Uh,
because they don't see what you see.
yeah, I
So
said
there's a
that.
very strong trust necessary in that bond in order to blindly and unconditionally love and trust each other.
We actually recorded a few videos that never are posted with Paulina. How actually this process that you just explained works. Those are kind of like we have a video conference and we talk and we do our researches and stuff. Boy, I'm trying to find something, and we talk about it. And guess what? I'm trying for like a 5 minutes, 10 minutes, nothing comes up. And here she's coming. She's like, "Oh, hold on, baby.
Yeah,
There you go, right here." And it's exactly what I need.
that's the way it works. That's how it's
That's
supposed
the
to
way
work.
it works. And but it's very interesting because our minds, the energy, is just flow. And it's very interesting because the universe shows you how to operate, how you work, how you're getting all this, and so on. So, all right. So, Blanca, welcome here. And let's see, somebody else is coming? No, not yet. So, Efrat have a question to both of us in there. How long did you make videos and had influence Twin Flame as your before you came in a physical union? Uh, that is it, the first question. And the second question, is it true? The Bible is talking about the inner spiritual path and not history path. And
The
there,
history repeats and replays. I mean, here we know we've been here before, and here we are again, and we're going through similar experiences as we would read. And that it's a guide to remember. If you're and help, the other guide is what they call in Christianity the Holy Spirit, or we say Spirit generally in the groups, which is the same thing, the Spirit of truth and wisdom. And that's where this comes from. That's where all that came from before. That's where it comes from now. But it's no different. So that's why I urge people to use whatever book you are most feel most relative with, to guide you as a reminder to let you know that that inner voice is correct, whichever one's easier for you to understand and you're guided to use. And you can go back to the Dead Sea Scrolls and uh, Hermetic writings and teachings and Gnosticism, books of Gnostic and uh, what is it? You introduced me to that term of what a lot of the men are, stoicism, right? To be stoic. And a lot of the journey is to make us stoic. I like people ask what stoic is, and I say it's unfuckwithableness. It's like you've been through and you've faced so much hardship that you can sit there in the face of danger and go, well, let's figure out a solution where everybody's running like chicken with their heads cut off. Why? Because you can't be through anything more traumatizing and tormenting than meeting yourself in the person in the flesh. I mean, that's people. Like I think I said in my video too. I'm like, I always wish there were two of me, and be careful what you ask for. I was like, it'd be great if there was another one of me. You know?
Yeah, talking about this stoicism, the stoicism, the basic of the stoicism is it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do about it? I mean,
You know
but you
what it
have to
is?
be prepared and go through
Yes,
that path of the
exactly.
Stoic,
Path of the Stoic is a very good combinations
or
between,
they call it the Fool's Journey too, like with tarot. So that's where tarot
yes,
finds its place.
and it's coming more related into the path of the samurai. In there, the Stoic, the warrior within. It's connecting more with we talking about this wisdom mastery in there that has been to uh, doesn't matter what you to develop this balance in there because the stoicism is more about what is an unbalance. I'm making the solutions to balance it out and standing on your power to it. Star Wars actually is based on the Stoicism, the Jedi
Yeah.
Mastery in there, but it shows up the weaknesses as you said, when you stay in the light, you fail to see and you deny the darkness in there.
Yeah, you saw Luke had to go and dabble in darkness in order to come out top side, you
Yeah,
know.
but
That's
to
what I'm
answer,
saying. All this stuff has been in our face almost. You start having the eyes to see. They've been telling you this the whole time, and you just weren't able to comprehend the
mhm.
messages. It's
Yeah.
not all a distraction. You've been distracted. They're telling you a good portion of the truth. The rest of it is in
Mhm.
you that for you to discern.
Yeah, I'm just gonna answer the question because the question was to both of us. Me and Nick has been doing it videos for I don't know. I stopped counting the years of making videos. Before the videos, I was making a lot of posts and so on for it. I can be wrong, but I think like over 7 or 8 years already. I've been publicly out in the twin flame journey too, but talking about this, we're not influencing for it. What it was is that me and Nick we went out as the path of the true seeker, and this is what me and Nick got connecting of seeking the truth. And if you hear us sometimes when he and I talk, oh God, you're gonna be watching this show is like uh, you see this Aries and Libra oppositions in full productive force.
Well, my Libra is my uh, north node, and it's also yeah, it's my north node. It's Libra.
And
South
yeah,
my south node is Aries, so
okay, so
so I'm
pass on.
always at battle with myself, you know.
But gotta be, it's so interesting with this in there that we've been able to really through the two oppositions as a this stoic in there, just seeing it this and four. Talking about physical union, let's not talk about that much about physical union because a lot of you are focused on the physical union, and this is what your fault is.
I'll touch on it. I'll touch on it
Yeah.
because
Uh,
I think it's a lot of people, I remember just like you do how it was in the beginning.
mhm.
And that was the only thing on our mind. So to discredit the thinking on that, I can tell you after 7 years of doing the work I'm supposed to do on myself and learning to stop resisting it and allowing myself to transform and become whole again, Your twin flame is like a muse. After that, like you hear them say in the groups, it's just the cherry on top. And I don't like these parroted terms, but that is what it would be for me now. I do no longer require my twin to be happy or whole in life. If there's, a lot of us were shown a mission in the beginning, and I still believe that's coming. Uh, but nothing is in our time, and we're not supposed to know the time or date, as it says. So what are you gonna? You can't sit there and wait for this. You're waiting for yourself to come home. I mean, you're there now. You might as well embrace it, and we got to learn to love yourself. This whole path is guided, self-guided, to get you there. All you got to do is surrender to it and allow and stop fighting it. That obsession starts to go away. That yearning constantly goes away. And a lot of people in the beginning, I didn't either think that would ever happen. So, let's just say, like, you're what you're touching on, it isn't that important to the whole of the journey.
Mm.
But they will be your muse.
Yeah, there will be a time for your physical union in there. And darling, thank you for
And
coming
don't
in
get
here.
attached to the body it was
Uh,
first attached to.
yeah, Paulina is here in the room. She has a hi for us and so on. Um, but
Isn't it her birthday?
yeah, it is her birthday, and
Happy birthday, Paulina.
happy birthday, baby.
Happy solar return.
And why not the physical unit is so important? I'll tell you because by study the psychology in there, people think that when they're in a physical union, they already got the person. And I have to warn you about this, that that's not it. Because I have people who came for consultations in there, and they're like, oh, everything was good and great. We had a great intimacy time and so on. And then things went out to poop. All right, let me ask you a question. Why did you turn out to a poop? We were not in the same love energy. We did not understand what's going on within the energy. We could have not control the energy in there. We were not able to managing the soul connections for it and so on. And then the personality was not healed. And we have a personality issue. Ah, so you took everything in an old way. You put the karmic relationships into the twin flame dynamic. While the twin flame dynamic, Lindy Kelling said long time ago. And there, when you meet your twin flame, everything go upside down. And when it goes upside down, everything goes as in order in there. And this is what a lot of the people, when they are focused of the physical union, yes, the physical union will come in. But when you do your spiritual work, you do your soul work, you do your emotional work, you do your pain body, you fix your personality, you line up within the energies, then you're going to be able to bring the heaven on earth. Otherwise, guess what you do? You're reaching out down to the depths of the hell and you're trying to bring it into the heaven. Ain't gonna happen. And
Yeah,
this is,
I want to
yeah.
touch on something real quick here, that's important. One of the reasons I don't do many videos anymore is so much gets lost of truth in the words we speak. There aren't, especially when you're activated, you smell colors that don't exist. You see, or you literally smell the colors. You know what I mean? It's like this whole new realm that is not what we were told. Starts to open up the supernatural, and it's like the DMT drip starts going, and what we want to say doesn't always come out right. What we're seeing, we're thinking, don't have words sometimes. So it's very hard for me to express my truth when you can't even speak it. So even now, it's like I'm catching myself falling into what people refer to as spiritual ego, since we've been recording.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know better than anybody else. And I have to remind myself that all the time, that even in the moment I knew everything through enlightenment, that was very short lived, because all that came from that were more questions. And I
Mm-hmm.
still don't have answers to those questions. People come to me for answers all the time, and I do not have them for them. Only thing I can do is walk them through how to receive their own answers. And that's why I won't get into some things. It's just why I have my unique way about my how I teach people. And there is
Mm-hmm.
nothing for me to teach except for that power within you, and to find it and give them some tools to do that.
Exactly. Shift them back to look at it from within because the answers are there. All right.
Yes.
We're gonna continue with that later on because um, mm, Efrat has more continue and more about clarifications about this physical union and so on. But Paulina have stuff that says, "Hi, Dionic, everyone. Glad to hear more experiences. Journey doesn't get tricky the higher you go. Learning discernment and self-knowledge is important, including using your mind properly." Nick, maybe you can comment on how you learn to discern objective source intuition and a personal wishes projections on the journey.
Well, one more time, I didn't catch all that.
Okay, so maybe you can comment of how you learn to discern objective source intuition and personal wishes projections on the journey.
One of the only newer uh, literatures I have almost everybody that comes to me read on the journey or not is The Power of Now by Edgar Tolle, or Edgar Tolle. I don't know how he pronounces his last name, but you have to be still. And every, you know, everything Master teaches this. The meditation. You have to be still. Discernment comes from viewing all sides with an open mind. You cannot take a side and unbiasedly look at the other side in order to bring that back in. You can't have a belief system either way at that point, and you have to give it to spirit, and you have to go within, and you have to see what comes back out. That is your discernment, that is your truth, and it comes through your intuition. That is, everybody who's on the journey should have their intuition and third eye smacked wide open. So you need to learn to use it, because you'll start using this too much and shit gets loud and you can't hear nothing anymore until you slow down again, stop, and be still and listen. You can ask anything of the universe, because it's a universe. It's a reflection of you on the outside. You throw it out there and you have to be still and listen for it to come back in. But where is it really coming from? Here. Because out there is here too. We got to remember, it comes through here, it merges with the brain. We have two eyes. It's all connected to the same thing. So what you're seeing has got to be here also, not just in a physical reality. So anything happening on your outside is a result of your belief systems, unconscious belief systems, even unconscious belief systems that have to be reprogrammed. And that's a big part of what Dark Night of the Soul's job is to do, is to start erasing all that, which means you have to lose everything. And I'll tell you, because we touched on that, turning the world upside down. I did lose everything, and many twin flames do. Everything material, houses, money, cars, friends, you name it. There, even my mind, I had to lose in order to get to where I am today, in order to see clearly. And it's a very painful process, and that's why when twin flames say, "Oh, it's magical meeting your twin flame, and it's been a glorious experience, and we got married and ran off into the sunset," and I don't know what you guys are talking about. That's a soulmate, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't wish this upon anybody, to have to do what we call the front runners of this, or it's referred to as the three waves, which I did see two of them come in because I was on this one of them, and everything after that, twins are the tipping point. So a lot of this hard work of the collective has been done. This where there are new people now coming in that don't have to have the full effect of that. And I'm not saying that's easy either, but I would have preferred what I see people coming in with now than what like me and you had to go through, Dio. I mean, did you have your share of accidents and wake up calls or not?
Oh my God.
We all did.
We all did. We all, and this is what the people don't understand. It's like I was talking about video a while back. Remember back in the days, it's like Jesus had to lose everything. Siddhartha had to go ahead and lose the whole kingdom. The situations, with him to let go of the wife and the kid, and he had to go out in the woods. He
And the
had
kingdom is within because
ah,
it's been
there we
separate. And
go.
so what did he really lose when he said he lost his kingdom? You see, that's what I'm saying
Yeah,
about parables and understanding them. He
yeah, there we
lost
go.
himself, and he had to lose himself to gain everything.
So a lot of the people when it comes in, they like, what do you mean? I have to lose this or I have to lose that, and so on and so on. And I'm like, do you think the divine it's taking this stuff away from you because of things?
I thought
Yeah.
God hated me. I was sure of it. It's like, how could anybody do glorious figure do such a thing to me? And now I see
Oh,
why. And there now none of that, nothing can happen that really trashes me again and is unrecoverable. It's more like it is what it is, like you said. And that's the first thing my twin said to me that triggered me in our first separation. And I said it over and over again, like it broke my mind. I'm like, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm like, I was like, how could you say that to me? Like, what kind of answer is that? What kind of narcissistic, you know, like, I'm like, I'm self-righteous. Here, I'll
yeah.
show you what love is. Sit in my lap. It's like you want to go back, and that's the thing. You are separated from the physical because you cannot be codependent. This is an interdependent relationship, and it's a 5D based relationship. The physical doesn't matter. It will, as above, so below, so it will come down to what it comes to, and you'll be happy with whatever it is, regardless, when you get to that point. So, yeah, don't get locked up on nothing because everything changes on this journey. There is no solid future, except that things are going to get better.
As a the journey you're gonna evolve, so the truth is gonna evolve within you.
Yeah, and it's our expectations. I say this over and over and over again. Expectations are the invitation for disappointment.
Yeah. Efrat was
If you're
like,
sitting there waiting for something, you're going to be disappointed if it never comes. Up until then, you're going to be disappointed the whole time because it hasn't come yet.
yeah,
That's why I say you got to be present, you got to be in the moment, and that's when your discernment starts getting honed. And trust me, you'll get karmics and all sorts of fun shit to, you know, help you hone your discernment, and you'll know eventually what the truth is in certain situations before you have to experience it all over again.
yeah. If you don't learn it the first time, you're gonna experience it again.
That's what a lot of these karmics are. So I don't want to deal with that, and you get rid of them. Guess what? A new one comes in with new lessons and those old lessons, and you're going to have to deal with it anyways. You're only running from yourself because the only thing they are bringing up is also a mirror, which is why karmics get quite confusing in the beginning when people hear twin flame. They are mirrors too, um, and they are powerful connections. They're also a soulmate. They're a part of that same soul. So it's gonna be a close connection, and it's gonna be a mirror. And if you don't like what you see, you need to change yourself. You need to let them walk away. Let's say if it's a bad situation by changing yourself, and sometimes you got to get away from that, so they will go away. But most always they will return to, and they'll come back to see if you've learned. If you can go right back into that cycle again, and every time it gets harder. And this is what part of this twin flame journey is to help us get out of that cycle of insanity. Repeating these same things over and over again, expecting different results.
Ah, talking about this.
This is my experience, by the way, too. So everybody's experience can be similar or a little bit different. But these
Yeah.
concepts have been around for years, which I was not awakened to and did not understand in the beginning.
Yeah, here is that coming in. We actually did a video yesterday with Paulina. We were talking about awareness of understanding. That is that the part of that awakening progress process. I'm sorry for it, but it's a part of that progress. Thinking too much and too fast. Sometimes the words are coming out quick and faster than you go. But talking about this awareness of understanding called this process, and when you begin to be aware of this understanding of everything that goes on as navigating the twin flame, then you become the twin flame yourself
Yeah,
first.
you already were. You forgot you were. It's this other, and let me be clear on this. The twin flame you meet that activates you is you. Even mine told me it was a different dimension. So we were married on a different dimension, not in this dimension, she said. And, I was like, what, we're right here, right now. What are you talking about? It's like you're at two different levels, basically, of consciousness. So, no, you can't be one with them in that moment. They're going to go away, and they have to. And I wanted to bring this up. This is the one thing I wanted to talk about when we had the video is the magnetism. And if you work with magnets, you'll learn a lot. Just two identical magnets, okay? You'll learn a lot about how twin flame dynamic works. Now, with your soulmates, with even karmics, usually they're an opposite, okay? They're the exact, you will have the attraction because, opposites attract in magnetism, okay? So it's stuck together, and that's why it's so hard sometimes to leave a karmic marriage or karmic relationship, because it's so stuck together. Now with a twin flame, you push and it makes an energy vortex because they're the same coming together. But guess what happens when you have to let go? They both go flying in opposite directions, and one of them is going to get the message, the other one's going to keep chasing with that same polarity, and you're going to push them away. It's magnetism. Everything is quantum and magnetism. And that's the easiest way to describe it. Now, how do you come back together with them? When you've neutralized both and they become, through alchemy, lead. Really it's gold, right? That they say they're trying, but lead is the 0 point, man. That's what everything, you know, nuclear becomes eventually. And it's grounded, it's heavy, and it's solid. And then you can put the two together, and there's the likeness of exactness, but there is no push or pull. So you want to become lead, and putting that lead together is gold. Alchemy. It's done in the mind, it's done with the soul. It can't be done in a lab.
Yeah. Efrat is making a little bit
And that's
of.
for all relationships too, by the way. It's always a magnet. We always called the two throughout life. I think a lot of us did a magnetic attraction to somebody or repulsion.
Yes, exactly.
And it's always the repelling part is you in everything.
Hmm. She was talking about this physical union, asking about again the time about it. For my question is not about physical union, but more about your mission as a person, twin flame. How much did you take that as a mission? How it prepare you to the union, helping others? As I am also making videos here in Israel, and I feel that I'm developing my spirit too. Uh, it's not about exactly the time. is the more fast.
His world's not turning upside down in Israel, is it?
Uh, oh my God.
It's not funny, but you have to laugh about the
Mm.
synchronicities of such things for each one of us in our life. And like right now, my hometown where I was enlightened is on fire, literally on fire right now as we go through this return of Pluto. That's where I met my twin up there in the physical. It's all on fire at the moment. And it's like I was very distraught last night for a little bit because those are all my childhood memories where I grew up, uh, being reset. Where in the same place I became a phoenix and rose from the ashes. So you can see it. Did I make an effect on the collective? And this is what's happening now for the collective, in my hometown, or is this just a natural process? You never know because
Mhm.
everything is synchronisant, and there's patterns and there's cause and effect in everything.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
what was the question he was asking?
All right, talking about that, how much time you did that about. Okay, let me read it right. My question is not about the physical union, but more about your mission as a person, twin flame.
Your mission is being your authentic self, and you align with your mission and journey. It's a joint mission. They're doing their part, whether you can see it or not.
Mhm.
I know
Yeah.
in the beginning, we would talk about things or say, this came to mind. I think this is my mission. And they would be exactly the same, except opposite. Um, like, for instance, working with the sheriff's department. At the same time, I had a revelation I'm supposed to help the inmates that are unlawfully uh, imprisoned, because I've been one of them. And so I've seen it firsthand because that's what a witness does, is experience it for themselves. I had to witness the lack of justice in the justice system. Her, on the other hand, was to set up meditations for the sheriffs. And I'm like, oh, which side are we working on here? Are we working on this together? And it was very confusing for me. I'm like, how are you going to help the enemy? Well, I'm helping the victim. But in the end, that was my victim mentality. So you see, there is and eventually over this time, you come back together, and it we'll say, even in a not in the physical, coming together, you come back together as a whole energetic unit to be like-minded and on the same mission together, doing your part. And I've said this before. What sense does it make to have you in the same two of you in the same place at the same time? Couldn't you do more if you broke off and started doing the same thing in two directions? That's the reality I came to on, still I hold today, many years ago, that I see playing out in these dynamics. Like, Paulina's in Canada, right?
Hmm.
Can't she do more help over there while you're doing your help from where you are? But would it make sense to just have you both there, sitting there watching the sunset every day? I mean, if your job was just to be an energetic beacon, which isn't for teachers, and my twin was a teacher too, um, in universities, teaching. I don't want to say too much because I don't like to talk about one who's not.
Yeah, I get you. We get you here.
Yeah, but yeah, I hope that answers that question from my
Yeah.
understanding of it and what I've
Yeah,
experienced.
this is a about that you point out this particularly about that I'm here in Spain and Paulina is there in Canada, but take a look at it. This we are both doing the work. We are both working on ourselves. Um, Most of you don't know, but the work that she and I doing it for it behind the background. In there, I'm sharing you some things for the audience here. For it. We are resolving things that most people are afraid to face. and we understand the power of the separations and why we are separate, but we also understanding the journey is not about separation. The journey is when you fix yourself as a set in the scripture that somebody's going to prepare the bride. Okay, and this is what happens in there. It's about the divine preparing the bride. Okay, Nick, you know what I'm talking about exactly. But
I do, yeah.
but she has her channel that she does videos on polish, which is you're correct about this energy of her growth. She does the videos that she posting on our channel that she does on her own, like I did it back in there, and so on for it. Well, right now I'm working in the house. You already know what I'm doing. We're already sharing it. So we are
I'm working on a house too. Um,
we are carpenters right now
we're
with
doing
it.
the same thing. It's
Yeah.
using a physical action to uh, validate what we've learned, spiritually, and putting it into physical action in tangible, making something tangible from the mind. I did that in the beginning, and then I had a big break from it. Now I'm doing it again. This time I've had to do it myself instead of have a bunch of helpers. Just like in the beginning of the journey, you're going to have a collective, and then they're all going to start to fade away, and you're going it served its purpose. Here's something I wanted to touch on too. For one, the mission
Mhm.
of both are complementary to each other. They may not be the same, but they're complementary for the same mission. Um,
Yes.
second thing is, how many times have we gotten together, Dio? Are you just going down the street having coffee with twin flames every day?
No.
No, none of us are. It's designed this way on purpose because we are important in our own power to be spread out. You're not going to go to LA and find a twin flame convention of genuine twin flames. Okay, there might be two or three. Um, hell, I've run into mine at certain spiritual uh, events that we shouldn't have. But yeah, the one thing I think we all start to realize is that we're all spread out around the world, and made unattainable to just get into a giant group of 100. And there are many reasons for that I've come to terms with.
Hmm.
And most I've tried, it just never happens.
Yeah.
Many attempts have been made.
Yeah. Brother Rich is here. Hi, Rich.
Hi,
CF.
brother Rich, King Richard.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah, any
This.
more questions in there?
Yeah. This twin flame journey has not been by free will. That come from twin flame power. Breaks our minds and hearts for it. Breaking patterns. Leroy, attachment to anything will seems to be counterproductive while trying to move towards our higher power. Uh,
Well, I urge everybody to look into the spiritual practice of non-attachment. Not just, and now we got to remember the reason we have a public group that we run is because this information is valuable to everyone. The concepts we learn and use on a daily basis, it doesn't matter who you are, it's going to make your life better. You're going to be happier in the end. You're going to find peace within
mm-hmm.
if you practice these are ancient concepts. It's not new to twin flames. We're remembering this stuff and relaying it back to the greater collective. It's nothing new. And
Mm-hmm.
non-attachment is a practice of the Stoics as well. And
Uh,
Stoicism, who was the first Stoic, known Stoic? I mean, what was it, BC, right?
there was a lot about the Stoicism when it comes in. The Roman empires actually took a lot about the Stoicism, and it's about even today's dates in there. One of the Um, some of the people don't know him, but his name is Art Williams. He used to be a football coach, but he created this financial company, and that was it, about to go against the financial companies and destroys them because they are not doing what they're supposed to. And he said like this, to understand the Stoicism, to withstand of what it is and find the solutions even in the situation. And he said in his favorite speech, he said like this: most people, they have a tendency to be excited for the days. There is some people who stay excited for a month, but the person who's going to win, he's gonna just stay excited until he wins. That is it. This modern stoicism is in there that we're not seeing it that much for it. But the stoicism is about you to stay in this neutral state, see two opposite sides, two opposite things, and benefit from both by you
Absolutely.
understanding the truth. And only the truth is, it's the truth itself. And that's what the truth itself, it's represented with the it is what it is. And when a person living by the it is what it is, that's what, you cannot mess with those kind of like people, it's kind of like you can get it, they will see the imbalancing stuff. But usually those are the people who knows the solutions. Because all their life, they're working out there to create these solutions, isn't there? And a lot of the people, they don't go by the stoicism, they go in by what is in their minds, what is they're going on their needs. Oh, I want my twin flame. Oh, I need my twin flame. And so on and so on. Without understanding, they have to develop themselves first in there.
I
So,
mean, why did the Roman Empire fall, Dio?
that is the big question.
Ego, pride, all what they call the seven deadly sins, and free will is what killed it. Instead of an empire run by God's will. Now, what was the comment of how there's no free will on the twin flame journey?
Mm-hmm.
There certainly is. But guess what? Every time you're to be aligned with divine will, eventually you get more leeway and can make decisions for yourself based on this new uh, uh, consciousness. You're allowed that freedom because you've already been trained by the divine and disciplined to where you'll walk that yourself and be able to spread it to others is how to be how everything has an order and it will always fall in the order if you let it. And it's the best, highest possible outcome every time if you don't try and control the outcome and aren't attached to an outcome that may be something else. You're going to create distortion, and nobody's going to have a clear view of the harmony of the divine in that moment. And so when you're going after power outside of yourself and controlling other people, then you're going to lose that. It has to fold on itself. And when you have a big group of people in any society that are trying to dominate everyone else, it's all going to collapse on themselves. And that's what we see happening in the world right now is the government systems collapsing on themselves again. And this isn't something new. And they should have known and learned. But that's where free will gets you. There's no reason to have to make your own decisions because the mind gets in the way with free will, where you can be fully a part of the path you're meant to be on and do your part every time. We're
Mm-hmm.
not here to save the world. We're just here to do our part in making it a better place.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and here is that coming in after the stoicism, when you learn the stoicism, and there, that is about having your personal power.
And Stoicism doesn't care what you
Yes,
think.
yeah, exactly. And to go back into there for it is that the Roman Empire mainly what failed is the abuse of the power for a personal gains.
And that's what we're
And
seeing now. So
yeah, and this is why that right now within all this is like go back into a Star Wars for some reason, and there it is the same thing like these fights between the Republic and the Empire. And the Jedi's, what did they say? We're not here to join the war. We are peacemakers. And that's what that is. As a twin flames, we're coming in here. We're about to show the life that it works as a twin flames in there. But there is something even more that it's beyond in there. To Karen has a question for you or a comment. Yeah, union comes in many ways. Good to hear.
what comes in many ways?
Union.
Oh,
Union comes in many ways. Good to hear yours. Did you have other spiritual connections to help you in your journey?
oh, absolutely, and they were unavoidable. I tried to avoid them, and many of them even noted. They're like, "Are you afraid of me?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I know you're a lesson. I know this isn't going to be easy." And that's the thing. You become logical about everything, and how can you be romantic when you're seeing the contract? You know what I mean? And you're like, "Huh, this isn't what you think it is. I know what it is, but how do you play along?" It just if you try to explain that to the person who comes in to help you learn the lesson, it goes in one ear and out the other. They aren't supposed to hear or know what you do. They're trying to show you don't know as much as you think you do,
Mm-hmm.
and that's very humbling to run into these other connections along the way. And
But you had to go through them?
most of them I still have today. Even after they came out of balance, we've come to an understanding where we can at least have a conversation and be on the same page.
But you had to go through it.
Oh yeah, I see some people seem to not. I guess it depends on your level of responsibility within the communities and collectives as to what you're going to experience that differentiates each person's journey and keeping it unique. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we can't have set ways, rules. If it's not this, you're not a twin. It just can't be. And you see this throughout our community and every other community of everybody knowing better. And it doesn't matter because even if they aren't, they're here now and they're here to play a role. They're going to see what your tolerance level is, the divine is. And they're also going to fit in somewhere that helps everybody as a collective whole. You can't just have, I tell you, I call them love and lighters. If you're just a love and lighter, I don't know if you actually understand what love and light is because you have to experience darkness to get that wisdom. You have to. And that darkness is inherent within everyone. Nobody's just born a beacon of light with no karma or dirt on them. You're born here, and the world's full of it. If you were ever a part of it, you have darkness to sort and work off of. And you have to accept both sides of yourself. Now, do you entertain the darkness? No. You don't go off and, I had a thought about killing somebody. We might as well have this experience. There's a right and wrong, but you have to accept that, look, I feel this way because, you know, it's very frustrating. And you really can't, even now, I'm seeing I may not be getting my message across because
Mm-hmm.
this is really something you have to experience to understand. And it just isn't simple to explain. I don't think it's possible without the
Yeah, you
experience any
got
more
that.
than the twin flame journey itself.
You
It
got,
can't be explained to a layman and
yeah.
understood.
The other answer got the bullseye right in there because talking about the people, I always telling the people take a look at it within your shadow, and the people don't want to hear that they look at it in the shadow, look at it within this. For and yeah, this until you understand
Most
there is no good and bad, until you get to the point that those are the two extremes of the same thing. You got the problem, there is could be a good solution or there could be a nightmare. But they're the same thing. They're just the two different opposite.
and if it's coming in, you're attracting it, and it's an aspect of yourself that you're
So if
attracting.
you focus on the nightmare, your fears is gonna be manifesting and you're gonna be living your fears and survival and so on. But if you focus on the solutions, here's the solution is coming in. This is the power of the twin flames. That they can work with both. They can understand the both. But as you know, Nick, that is what the true seeker is. Okay? Like the good cop, the bad cop. But they want the truth. They all both have to be present in there.
You got to let the good cop and the bad cop too, the ones who are dualistic, do their jobs.
Exactly, and that's what it is about the spiritual connections, because the spiritual connections, previously spiritual connections before Paulina. I will kind of like make a comment up here pretty quick, guys, for you, for it. What was the difference between everyone else with the soul connections and her? She brought the inner peace in the soul. She came with the divine inner peace energy in the soul. She didn't ask for certain things. Yeah, it was like the inner peace and the soul was with both of us for a few days before we even acknowledge and recognize the connections and sit down and talk about this particular divine inner peace connection.
And that's all that matters in the end. What your expectations need to be. That's why I say no expectation. Like Mr. Jerusalem there said,
Efrat.
I can't. Huh?
Efrat.
Yeah, Ephrat.
Yes.
Um, yeah, it's the money on the head. It doesn't matter uh, if you are practicing non-attachment. It doesn't matter anymore. But it doesn't mean, and now I get this all the time, and I used to think in the beginning too, it doesn't mean your original twin flame ain't coming back for something. And there is a mission attached to that. However, that may not be in the physical. It could be forever, because you don't need it anymore when you've come into union of self. And they likely have or will shortly after. And I mean, if the two were to ever come together again, and some do, some don't, I don't think anyone should have an expectation of either or. Uh, we all did in the beginning. Did you not, Dio? Your original, catalyst. Oh, look, love. I never experienced it before. My heart is so open. It's, I mean, come on. We all wanted that. We still do at some level, but it doesn't, we're not, if it doesn't, that's fine after a while. And I am happy and content with everything I'm attracting in. Because, like Stoics, and you were mentioning, and you touched upon, and this conversation touched upon, it is the law of attraction. From the betterment of self, you attract better things, and you're going to be grateful for those things, or you're going to lose those things. Any kind of manifestation, spells, casting, you know, uh, lighting candles, divination, I use these things as tools for very specific purposes, but I did misuse them all in the beginning. I got a rack of tarot cards sitting over here because, when Neo was downloaded with all sorts of things, tarot was one of them. So I bought every deck I could find to see what this was all about. And I never told anybody the future except for myself, because I was determined to use these things to find out exactly what was going to happen and what to expect. And I was disappointed every time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, manifestation is the exercise of free will. The law of attraction is the law of allowing the good things to come in organically that are meant for you.
Exactly, and that was it. This naturally path for it, and as I mean, you mentioned the tarot cards and so on and so on. We all use this energies to, when you start doing the tarots back in the days,
Well,
where the tarot was not even that big for it on the YouTube.
I always have them on hand, you see. Let me do a demonstration just so people know too. It's very quick. You know,
uh,
how does tarot work? Why does tarot work? I mean, this was something I had to know in the beginning. In the beginning, it's you see it as a strength. You go rushing towards it. You start thinking about everything that you're being shown, and in the end, it'll separate you. This is how tarot works. And what, in the end, at the bottom of the deck, you see things from a different perspective with the Hanged Man. And what was the result of all this activation was the moon. We must be temperate in all our decisions. And everything you need will always come in from the universe. What are you left with? The cup, Ace of Cups, everything will be poured into that one cup, and you are the cup. That's how I use tarot for energy. But before I would say, oh, look, that must be my twin. Oh, look, she doesn't want to give anything to me. This is her. She's all tied up, and really it's you. And oh, look, union is coming. It works both ways. Oh, not only that, what's following that is the lovers. You see, I mean, you can really be deceived if you don't know discernment, and you improperly use this powerful um, divination tool for the wrong reasons. I certainly did.
yeah.
I paid $10,000 in the first year in readings and information from people, and it was a waste of $10,000. Aside from learning, nobody was going to tell me anything I didn't already know on the journey, and that I mean, sure, there was guidance. The thing is that it wasn't something I couldn't do myself. I
Mm-hmm.
I did not trust myself enough in the beginning. And that distrust of self also led to going down roads of deception. So this all balances out in the end, is what I'm saying. I barely pick these things up anymore because I never really needed them to begin with. You've come
Mm-hmm.
to understand.
Yeah. Leroy, have make a comment. If your world is on fire, be prepared to walk away because you won't need nothing. Everything you need is within you. Is within. Life is oscillation. Uh Karen, it's becoming full circle with a dark and a light within you. Yes, exactly. Nick, there is a twin flame power. Nick, our twin flame generational from our ancestors.
You are your ancestors. It's an inheritance,
Mm-hmm.
including their karma. So you do the clearing, but you also receive all the knowledge. And that goes back, as you do the work, you get wiser and wiser. It's called the rising of the saints, the resurrection. It's everything is symbolic, everything's a cycle. We've all been here before, and you are them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember being Jacques de Molay. I remember being burned at the stake. I remember leading the Templars uh, and opening, expanding consciousness. Now, is that symbolic? Did it really happen? I don't know. Who knows what part of history is even correct, or if it's symbolic like the Bible? Am I Jesus? It says Jesus. There's a lot of similarities. My name was I'm not Jesus. I'm not from a Mexican descent, you know, nor am I a Mohammed because I'm not, but you are who you are, and it is what it is. And you are all these things because you are the universe. It funnels into that cup, that ace of cups I just pulled. That's the result of all this. You are the chalice. So it doesn't matter.
The
You just need to accept
growl.
what is.
The
But
growl.
hey, how is what color is the yin and yang symbol for balance? Is it all white and light?
No.
No, that's where you want to be. There's night and there's dark. This is a world of duality. What? You want to get to a point where neither one makes a difference and you're at peace with both. And it does it day is night and night is day. I don't even sleep during the day. Why? I'm not on any kind of human cycle. I'm on a divine cycle. I go to bed when I'm tired. I eat when I'm hungry. I don't follow no food pyramid, given to me by some government organization. I do what my intuition, and when I pick out my food, it's a discernment. That's kind of where I think a lot of people were having questions.
Yeah.
You make it your lifestyle. It's not like something you do on the side. It's a full-time job.
Mm-hmm. I seashell for it. Queen Master said that very refreshing conversations. Love it. Yes, this is how our conversations with Nix are. Too.
It's good
Seashell.
for me too, because I don't really have many people to talk to. I mean, even when I think back on what I just said to the average person, I sound like a lunatic. And I know that because I would have thought the same thing of me.
What was that quote? What was that quote in there? If they can hear us, what we are talking about it, they're gonna put us in a mental hospital.
Oh yeah, that's why I tell people when they have a spiritual awakening, I said, anything you do, do not go to a psychiatrist. Okay. I said, you've got to ride this out. There's groups of people to help you through this. You will get through it, but do not go to a hospital. If I had, I probably would still be in there right now. Because I
Uh,
haven't changed. I've just adapted and understood. Oh, I'm not crazy. I was crazy before, I think, in my lifestyle and recklessness, but now I'm not. But they would still hold on to me,
uh,
saying I have to conform to the rest of the world or they won't let me go.
exactly. All right. Seashell, she has a question. How do you deal with the external pressure that pushing you in another directions? It can be hard when a human, uh, when they mean well, but the pressure is constant to conform. Please.
You have to be careful not to be rebellious because rebellion is going against something that is. Okay, so you don't have to conform, but you create your new environment by creating it within. You'll push away the rest of the world, and the only thing, and it's very lonely here, the only thing that will come in is what resonates with you at that higher frequency. The rest of the world will leave you alone. They're parallel dimensions, one on top of the other, side by side. You see somebody in the third dimension while you're walking here in the fifth. They don't recognize you either. You are not one of their people, and they are not one of yours anymore. However, we're all God's people. You know, so there's a process we go through. I'm still going through my processes. I don't have all the answers. I can only talk about what I've experienced so far. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I'm talking about what you're trying to mention there, the resonance. When you, there was a big thing that when I awakened, a lot of the people who knew me before awakening, they're like, Dio, I don't see you anymore. Like, what happened to you?
Something's wrong with you, huh?
No, because Dio was vibrating kind of 5D. You become like invisible for the people you work with. And they're like,
And the general public and the police when you stop conforming. You will trust me, this is a guided journey. You will learn to be in unity consciousness. You don't have a choice. This is the direction it's going. You can do it the easy way or the hard way.
evolution has
You're
no
still
mercy.
That's the way the universe is pulling the entire world. So you might as well have a head start that we've been given and make good use of it because nobody else is going to have a choice either. They
Yeah,
will, but it's not. We don't have one. It's when you're chosen, you don't have a choice. When you're called, you do.
yeah.
But this is the safe road. If you think there's a safer road than heading straight into the fire, there isn't.
Hmm.
You're gonna get thrown in it eventually, anyways, kicking and screaming.
Yeah, and they're like,
Because the fire is purification. So things are renewed when after they burn. Now you start anew. So you have to burn. The old everything has to go. And
and the
that's
other,
what
the
happens on this journey.
exactly, and the other power is what's happening when your soul get on fire. Just thinking about that part for a second.
Your ego is going to rebel,
Ah,
and you're going to fight as a human to try and hold on to what you remember and what was comfortable, because the fire burns, it's hot, and it's uncomfortable.
mm.
It's still the easiest way is to walk through that fire, because once the fire gets lit, which two fires are lit on the twin flame journey, it's twice as hot. You know, this isn't the twin icicle journey.
It's not a frozen. Okay. Oh, that's how we talk. This is a really live. I love this live show up here and so on. It has been already. We're talking about hour and a half show. Um, any last things, Nick, you want to give in to the people? Like, oh, there is a question. I didn't saw it in there. I see my children have like a kind of gifts and knowledge and grandchild, so I want to guide the safety. Any guide to guide the safety. Any suggestions?
The children are a reflection of you. So the more you feel and know you're safe, the safer your children are going to be and feel.
It's all about to understand that there is no safety. Safety, what it means, safety. You go in there.
I've
It,
written plenty of articles on that too. Fear and safety are both an illusion.
mm,
There is no thing to fear except something that hasn't happened yet. So there is no reason to fear it. It hasn't happened yet, and likely it's not going to. But it's likely a remembrance of something that happened in the past that you're fearing happening again. So that's why everything has to go. Um,
exactly.
Worry, there is nothing to worry about, because things are going to happen how they are going to happen anyways. The worst thing you can do is get in the way and think you have a safer solution than how it's going to play out. Now, that doesn't mean if your kid's in the way of a vehicle, you don't take action and move them. But if they're safe on the side, you let them be, because you will teach them, don't run out into the street because you could get hit.
Yeah.
It's You can't be worried all the time, because you're going to attract more things to be worried about. This is what we just touched on with the power of attraction. And when I was a kid, my parents let us go out and run around the middle of the woods full of coyotes and freaking bears and pedophiles. God knows what was out there, and we just be back before it got dark. There were no cell phones, there was no monitoring. There was like maybe check in once a day with me as we were going out there making weapons and climbing trees and riding bikes over jumps. And we're still here, most of us. But I mean, if you're still here, you've already survived
Yeah.
what some people haven't. So I would say that's great strength to look back upon, and how far you've come, because God doesn't give us anything we can't handle,
Yeah. And here
or
what
doesn't
I'm
give us
gonna.
too much, rather, is what
Yeah.
it says.
And I'm gonna be just right here. Twin Flame Power. One movie, kids movie, Finding Nemo. There you go. Go watch it. All the answer on that question right there, it is in there. Um, Efrat has a one thing that she makes a comment. Kabbalah says security is the cloth of light. For it, but what happened is when the darkness comes in, what happened with the clothes in there, and that development for it. We're respecting all the religions here, guys. Just guys, so you know, we're not making any. Um, what was the word? Nick, blasphemy, I think was.
Uh,
Um,
no, the,
for it, we are spiritual guys up here. We're appreciating everything, but
I don't conform to any religion, but I
mm,
do recognize the source of all religions. I believe that where religion's developed from. That's what I believe in, and it's not separate one from the other. I believe in them all. You know, ancient religions and practices. Their religions are built off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So what the particular church or temple does with it is that's another story. I don't need any of that myself. I tap into what
The
that
energy,
was
the
built from.
source is
Yeah, so
giving it to
I
you.
don't. Yeah, there's not one. I wouldn't say, like I hear people say, oh, Muslims, man. You know, it's like, have you read the Quran? You know, it's like, you know, you have to understand that was they're a religion of love. Now, are there extremists? Absolutely, and there is in the Christian religion too. You know, and Hindus extremists. You know, even a monk you could call an extremist. Um, and they aren't safe people to be around. They're quiet people. You know, but I mean, nobody, nothing. There is no safety. Life's an adventure, and you got to take risks.
Exactly. There is no safety.
I would say,
There's
a
only an
well-discerned risk. You
opportunity.
know.
It's only an opportunity to be safety in there because
But what I do say every day, anytime I get in my car, um, I can't even think of the other one right now. I am safe. I am loved. Um,
mhm.
I don't even say it anymore because I already am now because I've said it so many times. But I do say I'm safe. I am affirmations are very powerful. The more you say them, the more you become them.
Exactly because
So,
when you
so
say
you
it
want to be
that
safe, say I am safe. My children, I am safe. My children are safe. To that one lady, um,
hmm, good one. I am twin flame. Yeah.
yeah, I am twin flame. So you are all these things, one with everything.
Yes. All right, Dick. I think that we are about to close down here. Anything you can kind of like for last words you can tell to the people to who's watching, who's gonna be watching even in the future. What would be the future advice you're gonna give it to?
I would just advise everybody to keep hope, keep faith, keep the love in your heart. Um, the more that you embody this, the more it'll be projected around you in your everyday life. There's a lot to sort through, and it's real tough in the beginning. And it's very painful at times. And what we don't deal with the first time will come back again. And will eventually, everything's a process. So there is no race to a finish line here, there is no dead end. Uh, uh, but you will always get there whenever that is for each and every one of us, whatever that is. And you'll be accepting of what comes into your life at that point. So don't worry about anything if you're still distraught or experiencing bouts of the dark night of the soul. It all will pass. And life is better on the other end once you've walked straight through that fire. The worst thing you can do when you're walking through the fire is stop and have a picnic. Just keep walking. You'll get there eventually, and it's green pastures and daisies on the other side.
All right, Nick. I want to say thank you for coming up here, and I really appreciate you. It was fun. Probably in the future, gonna invite you again to it. And to all of you guys, I want to leave you with one thing in there. As a twin flame, take a look at it, your outer world around you. You're gonna find your inner world within. If you have something that you need to solve and resolve, take a look at an outside world. Are you organize it? Are you renew it? Are you restoring it? And that's how you're gonna be start restoring your inner world from within yourself. And then the divine is gonna come in and there. And into the scriptures, kind of like to understanding this portion for it's talking about the scripture about Job. Okay, so take a look at it in there. Take a look at it inside of yourself for and understand it, the more light you become, the more darkness you're gonna be exposed, because the more you shine, the more darkness you're exposed to work with. And your job is to transmuting this darkness, to understand this darkness, that darkness needs evolution. And the only way to evolve when you put the light within. When you shine the light within, you're gonna find the dark from within. That is the power of Tao, the yin yang inside of yourself. And when you look at the two opposite sides in there within yourself, you find the truth. At the current moment, present of time, the ultimate truth. And that ultimate truth is gonna scream one thing. It is what it is. And you go with it. Okay, guys, I wish you so much love. I wish you so much understanding. And if you're one of you wants to be here coming on this interview shows, all for it, you can come and write to me. But special thanks to Nick. I appreciate so much, brother. And we all appreciate it. And thank you. It was very good. It was very educational. And we have a lot of fun. Yeah. So
I feel better too myself. So I always feel good when when we can speak our truth on a forum, and that's why I do my best to stay involved within select forums and select interviews. So
all right, man.
Q&As, discussions.
Yep, we always have a good talks every time when we talk, and this was very good. That it's beneficial for everybody. All right, guys, thank you so much for it. If you have any questions, comments, and so on, actually, you can find Nick. I posted his video. You can find him at Alchemy of Balance in there, and you can
Alchemy
make
of Balance 333 on YouTube.
yes,
Nick
exactly.
Matula on Facebook. Nick Matula, Matula, and then I'm one of the admins with Theo there on I Am Twin Flames. So feel free to contact me. If I don't get back with you right away, I definitely will. If anybody needs any more questions or needs support on the journey.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah. You guys know where to find Dio. If you don't know, the universe will teach you for it, but I have all the information. So if not, go check it out, aquaspiritunited.com. That's what that is. And with that being said, in there, everyone here, people wishing you so much love. Diamond B sends you a lot of love. Eva, Erica, I'm very happy to hear. Happy, Nick, I am too. Seashell says thank you. Karen said thank you very much. Erica, happy to have my old friend here. So, all right, guys.
Grateful to be here. Thank you very much, Theo, and brother from another mother, and other periods of time throughout time. all of us, the whole collective is we've all been here before, nothing to worry about. We're here now. Obviously, we died or survived.
It is what it is. And now that song is coming in. Ow! I feel good. Da, 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 da. All right, brother. Thank you so much. And namaste. So much peace. And be within the journey. And we're going to get again. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Be love and the journey. Keep walking on it. Okay, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.